My project is Rock, Paper, Scissors Games, and it's a website which hosts free printable educational board games that are made by students for other students. So what problem does it solve? There's a huge inequity in education worldwide, as many students do not have access to good quality education, and there are very low rates of even kids who get an education, let alone a good one, especially in many impoverished communities. And we know that gamified learning is really useful in helping kids learn. So that is learning through playing games, as it helps memory retention, it helps engagement, it helps students get more interested in a topic and kind of take it further on their own. But over 50% of the world population does not have access to internet. So board games on the site would be printed and distributed by non-governmental organizations. And in addition to having the functionality to view games and to print them, I also have made a board game design curriculum, which I've used in summer camps to help students build their own games that will go on the site. So how I brainstormed, I use the concept of frugal innovation, which is taking something that already exists and making it for significantly cheaper. And one example is the Fold Scope, which is a microscope made for less than $1 in parts, which is extremely cheap, and it's been used in science classrooms all around the world. And how this applies to rock, paper, scissors is that it removes the expensive material costs of a regular board game, which is like all the cardboard and the pieces and everything. And it preserves the essential aspect of the game. It preserves the usefulness and functionality of the game, which is the logic and the game rules. And as you can see by these approximate estimates of cost, it makes this literally 100 times cheaper. The model is people can view games at www.rpsgames.org. You can submit game ideas and the directions for that are on the contact page. The submissions are reviewed before publishing, and we plan to partner with non-governmental organizations to distribute these games all over the world. And as for the business model, just adding this in, we plan to be a nonprofit and make money off of donor support, and also cover some of the operational costs from the non-governmental organizations that are using it. Some key iterations is that I made the preschool games for the little kids have the rules in picture format, so there's no words and they don't have to read. They don't have to be able to read. Redesigned some color schemes to print well in black and white. And then I moved to a custom website for more flexibility, added a search feature by age and category, and then I moved games from local storage so users doesn't have to download all of the games on the site to a storage bucket in the cloud. And some I made after this PowerPoint was due, so I couldn't put them on here, I made some of the functionalities happen faster by loading the games earlier in the program rather than when the games page is displayed. And I've added more games since from summer camps that I've run. The next steps are to build partnerships with schools to get students to submit more games, work with non-governmental organizations to distribute the games in developing countries, to streamline the submission process, and here's some of the website and email. And if you like, I can show the website. Can you see this website? Okay, let me stop share and share it again. There. So this is the home page, and then when I search for games, it shows a bunch of the games here, and I can search, say if I just want preschool math, it'll get there. I can see the details of the game and the author, and some more games by the author. And I can also download the game. So it'll show like, so these are the picture rules that I was saying, and oh sorry, and then there's the memory games for the cards. The cards for the memory game, and yeah, and then I have the contact page to submit a game, and then an about page. Thank you.
Very good. Very good. Thank you, Ayana, for sharing your idea and your project. I have a quick question for you. Like, I've seen that your project is like already like growing and evolving. How many people are involved in RPS games like so far?
So that's a good question. So any stuff on the site I do myself, and for the camps I've worked with other organizations like Mynantics and Archimedes, which is Mynantics is kind of they teach creativity, and Archimedes teaches like math and science. So I've worked with them to run the summer camps. But other than that, it's just me, and I plan to expand that and work with more organizations.
Yeah. Okay. Very good. Okay, so are there any questions from our advisors?
I have a quick question. What kind of advice did you have you received that's been the most valuable in your process?
I like actually a lot of the advice I received that was really helpful. I talked to my computer science teacher from my high school classes, and he gave me some suggestions on how to polish the site and make it look more professional. I also had a lot of advice from my dad on how to structure like the architecture of the site, how to use the different components, what sort of programs and applications to use to develop the site. And a lot of times, like especially since the world of technology is such a rapidly changing one, I've had to go and Google a lot of things that kept changing as I was building. So I've redone this in several different ways. It's just the technology keeps changing. And I think one thing my dad said that was probably the most useful out of all of this advice was that I should make my architecture of my site so that like I can add on functionality later. So think of the big picture and think of the big things I want to do in the future, even if they're not in this version. And how would I make my architecture conducive to making those changes later, as well as scalability is a big thing, making sure that if there suddenly is a lot of data in the database, does it work for that situation? Or if there's a lot of traffic on the site.
It's very comprehensive. Great job.
Thank you. Any other question or comment from our advisors? Sean?
This idea is very good. Compared with traditional learning, what is the biggest advantage of game-field learning?
Yes, so the biggest advantage with gamified learning as compared to traditional learning is memory retention of or understanding of the concepts, because in a game the ideas are expressed in a simple way as compared to in a classroom lecture. There'll be very complicated ideas thrown and it's up to the student to make sense of them. The game is like a model that the student can explore all the aspects of, and they can learn. It also gets them more engaged because it's more fun. So it's more immersive learning as opposed to just having the student try to make sense of a lot of information thrown at them in a lecture.
Okay. All right, thank you. We just like run out of time. Thank you for your presentation, Ayana, and for your ideas. And thanks to our advisors for their comments.